The views and opinions expressed on From the Mouths of Madness are that of the panel and not of the Geeks Under the Influence Network or their sponsors, Amazon.com and tpublic.com. Listeners, beware. Coming straight from the Mouths of Madness. I'm one of the hosts, Lowdown. With me, as always, is
F.U. Hunter. What's up, bitches?
Yeah, no special bitches. No,
I couldn't think of any little girl with no
smelly
shoe
bitches.
killing motherfucker bitches.
He's like, both movies are like, you smell weird.
How about you taking a pull of acid, bitches? Yeah,
You mean a face full of acid?
yeah.
There you go.
Just
Face full of acid, bitches. It's okay. Great lead-in we got here, guys.
Oh,
Tonight,
man.
we are A+ in this shit. So tonight on Killer or Filler, we're going to be discussing the 2008 Swedish film Let the Right One In versus the American 2010 film Let Me In. Now, I want to preface this right out the gate. They're almost the same movie, but you really, if you actually watch them, they are separate movies. Like when I say they're almost the same movie, it's because there are scenes that are directly mimicked, but I literally watched both of them within days from each other, and they are different movies.
To me, most of the beats are the same. Yes, there are a few things. There are things different, but it's following this. I would put it the same way of comparing. What's the movie with the two kids that are fucked up?
Okay.
Funny Games. Funny Games, the OG, and the American remake. There's a few little slight changes here or there, but most of the movie follows the same beats, the same shots. I mean, so I kind of put it in that category.
Yeah. Now, this story is from the 2004 novel Let the Right One In by John. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Lindqvist. He's Swedish. I don't fucking know.
Type.
Yeah,
Right,
no
yeah.
shit. Obviously, the Swedish film came out first. Now, Matt Reeves doesn't necessarily agree with his Let Me In being a remake. He just says he's more of a true adaptation of the book.
Okay.
That was his premise going into the film, not to just remake what's his fuck?
The director or the
Alfredson's
yeah.
movie.
Well, yeah, I didn't know that. So I mean, but
'cause the original 2008 Swedish film was directed by Thomas Alfredson and I hope I'm pronouncing that last name right, Jesus. But that was like his first film, and much like Matt Reeves directing Let Me In, all he'd really done that was what the fuck before that was Cloverfield, which I say all that, but awesome film.
that's a good starter movie.
It's a good starter movie.
Yeah.
Well, no, he had some more. They were just bad. He did Pallbearer, bro.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I know he did a bunch of TV shows stuff too.
Under director credits,
Ooh.
Pallbearer's there, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. See? That's what I'm saying. Like,
Well, I guess everybody's got to like. I get a paycheck for this. All right.
Cool. I was trying to make a movie, but no, I mean Matt Reeves. He did Cloverfield. He did this. Then he went on to do fucking Dawn and War of the Planet of the Apes. I mean,
Yep.
and now he just recently did the fucking Batman.
Yep.
I mean, the motherfucker has gotten Hollywood money now. Like,
Yeah.
he's done 3 very action story-oriented films.
I just got to see him in person too because he came out for the Warner Brothers part of CinemaCon
Oh, nice.
and introduced some of the trailers and stuff. So yeah.
Is he doing more Warner Brothers movies, or is this because he's the most recent Warner Brother movie?
Well, no, he's doing a sequel. So
Oh, is he?
yeah.
Okay. Like I had heard rumors that was getting greenlit, but I didn't know. Okay. Yay. That was a good movie. So yeah. Now, obviously, outside of some of the language, like the Swedish films, guess what? It's in Swedish.
Yeah.
So you got the subtitles.
And I mean, here's the thing: is I remember discovering that movie, and I heard a few people talking about it, probably a year after it had come out. And it's so funny how some people were like, "Oh, what subtitles? I don't want to watch that." I'm like,
Still.
cool. You're just gonna miss out on an amazing
Dude.
fucking movie because you don't want to fucking read. Okay,
Dude, we have brought this up
God damn it.
multiple times on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, really? Did you not pass the 3rd grade? Like, what the fuck? Can you not
You
read?
can't multitask, and not only
Jesus
that,
Christ.
but you're missing out on some amazing cinema. Like,
Dude, I can't even count the amount of movies and experiences, because a good film is a fucking experience. I can't count the amount of experiences I would have missed out on in my life if I refuse to
Yeah.
watch movies with subtitles.
Look, if you want to, we just if you can't read,
And fuck dubbing.
What? No,
Fucking
no,
subtitles,
hold on.
fuck
I was about
dubbing.
to say, look,
Fuck dubbing.
if you can't do the reading while watching, and it's something great, okay, dumb it down, kindergarten that shit, and at least and watch the dub version. Okay, again, that's a kindergarten that
terrible.
shit, and you're missing some of how
like,
the movie's supposed to
it's like
go.
people that watch the dubbed version of Squid Games versus the just reading. Like, dude, I'm telling you, it's a whole different experience.
Hold on. I will admit I have the subtitles on and I put the dubbing on because some of the interpretations of the characters' voices, specifically the gangster dude and the crazy chick, the dubbing, they're full in. They're, like the days like, I will make sure. Like it's so dark and like I'm a fucking gangster. And the chick's like, I'm crazy. And
no,
like,
I want to be with you. I'll be in your group. I'll be with you.
I put it on even though I'm still just reading it because I want to hear the overreaction dubbing of these characters. But yeah, that's the exception to the rule.
But
and most of the time,
agree that
subtitles.
If we want an accurate depiction of the story, subtitles.
Yeah.
You know, because then you're hearing the native tongue, everything syncs up, and you're getting a better interpretation. Actually, you get a better interpretation of the dialogue. I don't think interpretation is the right word, but translation of the dialogue compared to dubbing. I don't know. It's like they dumb it down even more for dubbing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now, did you see Let the Right One In, like, prior to...
First.
Okay. Yeah.
I saw that.
And that's what I'm always curious about some people.
Like, not that much more. Like, I remember I started watching Let Me In, and I made it halfway through the film. And I had to stop it for something, and I was talking to somebody about it, and they said, oh, that's a remake of a only 2-year-old film.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would they... like, oh, well, it's a Swedish film. I'm like, oh, okay, so they remade a foreign film, made an American version. Cool. I then went and watched that before I finished that Reeves film. And so that way, like, it's kind of...
It is weird to discover a movie and then see trailers for the remake, like, right after you discover... I mean, because, you know, I caught it a year after it come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there I am a couple months later, and there's a trailer for Let Me In. I'm like, but the original movie just came out. And you're watching a trailer, you can tell it's a remake of... Let the Right One In, and that just caught me off guard. I was like, but I just saw the movie. Like, that's such a quick turnaround.
It was a very quick turnaround, which is odd, and it's probably the quickest turnaround for a...
I'll throw this out right now. The two mains in both movies, I think, do an excellent job.
You're talking about Oscar or Ellie?
Both of them. That's what I'm saying, is the original and the remake. And
here's the thing.
Well, and here's the thing is that I've experienced some not so good with Chloe. What the fuck?
Grace
What the
Moretz,
fuck? Yeah. So I definitely.
But we just talked about her in Suspiria, and that's a more recent film, and she crushed it in that too for her roles.
She's in it for like 5 minutes. Okay, congratulations.
But she comes back at the end all fucked up and like mutating into the wall and shit.
That's
disgusting.
True. But I'm just saying she's not in it long enough to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Carrie leaves a bad taste in my mouth. All right.
Yeah, but okay. But I you know, we've talked about this. I think she did good for what she was given.
Right.
I think it was the wrong casting, which is on the director, and I think it was the wrong the translation of the story wasn't done right, which is also on the director and the screenplay.
This role,
I would defend her a little bit.
This role fits her better than the role she played
right
in
after
Carrie.
Kick-Ass, by like a year.
Yeah.
Well, like so it came out 2 years later, so they had to start filming it a year. Kick-Ass came out in 2008.
Yeah.
And so they had to start filming this in like 2008, 2009. So it's like not that far off of Kick-Ass. She's like 13 in this film.
Yeah.
Accurate to the character.
Exactly.
Both films, both the girl and our main girl and our main boy are both 12. So it lines right up. Another big difference between the characters is the Swedish version, the main male's name is Oscar, the vampire's name is Eli or Ellie.
Ellie, yeah.
Well, see, he depending on if you watch it,
I always just thought Ellie. That's. But
when he reads the letter she leaves,
right,
he says Eli when he's reading it in his head. Remember, she leaves him 2 notes. This is weird.
Yeah.
And then in the American version, it's Owen and Abby. So the Swedish version, I know none of the fucking actors. Zero fucking clue. I looked up. They have not really done shit
anything,
since then.
Yeah.
But the American version, outside of obviously Matt Reeves being the director, but we've got Richard Jenkins, who, I mean, come on, man.
Dad from Step Brothers.
Dad from Step Brothers. Dad from 6 Feet Under, dude.
That's true. But
which was bigger than Step Brothers.
I know.
I'm just saying.
But Step Brothers might be one of my favorite comedies, so I've watched that at high volume. So going
Plus
back
it's a
to
movie.
this after seeing Step Brothers so many times, it is weird to see him in a serious role, pretty much murdering motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Right?
And then the mom that you don't see much of, so I want to get into that part. One of the differences between the films. So like you said, there's so many similarities that we really need to focus on the differences that make these films kind of stand out. And one of them is the mother. In the Swedish version, the mother is very present, and she's like this annoying, ominous figure just nagging the fuck out of Oscar.
Right.
Like the whole film. In this movie, the mom, Matt Reeves plays with the 80s a lot, and there's a lot of conservative, like Christian, there's a huge boom in the 80s of conservative Christianity, and he really plays on that a lot. And the mom, he's going through divorce with Owen's dad, and she just like converts hardcore to Christianity. Remember, like when she leaves him a note, it says "Love you, God bless." I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, they started out with a quick zoom in of Reagan talking about
that's his,
the ideals.
Yeah, what was that name of that speech? There was a famous speech. There's like a name to it. I can't remember right now, but yeah, that speech. They really let you know, like, hey.
Well, it's pretty much him shit talking Russia and talking up America. He's like, they suck. We're awesome. God loves us.
Well,
God hates Russia. There you go.
Outside of the God thing, that's still pretty accurate. Russia kind of sucks. I'm just saying. But what we've got with the mom in the remake is that you never see her face, and she's like all the adults, not just the mom. This
so
carries over
like
other things.
Ren and Stimpy's
or
adults
like Peanuts.
Yeah,
it's like the adults aren't as prominent in this movie versus the original. The original, you get a lot of adult interaction. You get him actually, you see them meeting in the bar down the street. You see them having dinner parties, and they're part of the story.
Yeah.
Where in this one, it's almost like the only time you see him, it's from Owen's point of view, looking at him through his telescope in his room. Or out when he's in the playground.
He's watching people
by the way, I don't know if you noticed that scene where he's multiple scenes where he's looking through them through a telescope. You want to guess what that is not to? Think about it. Think about a horror director.
I mean, I would just go with fuck you. I can't think of the goddamn name of the movie, but fucking Hitchcock.
Yeah, Rear Window.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. Those moments where you're like, oh, do you dare think I don't know the name of this movie? And then your brain goes, fuck you.
Yeah,
you don't know it.
Yep. But no, that's exactly
exactly
what that was an nod to, though.
I will say, I think one of the watching both movies, there's a little bit of a change, in my opinion, on the main actor, where the original, he kind of builds up to aggression after being bullied. And they kind of set up at the very beginning with Let Me In. There's a few things kind of going on there with the fucking creepy ass mask and him fucking like stabbing shit. Like there's a little bit already built in like aggression before you even establish the bullies.
True.
Where in the original, I think like, he's like, I'm just kind of doing my thing. And the bully's like, fuck you for not being us. Because I can't really figure out why they fucking hate us. Besides, like, your haircut sucks, so we're gonna fucking beat you up. Like,
and they made it from in the remake they called him little girl, and in the original he was a pig.
Yeah.
But so
I don't. Have you been over? Apparently, that might be like
maybe
pretty hardcore.
I don't know. But to finish up, what I was saying about the mom is the actress is the mom from Stranger Things, Mike's mom.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's another like there's actually a decent amount of actors in this film that kind of stand out. Like with the bully is from 13 Reasons Why and
a bunch of other stuff. Yeah.
13 Reasons Why I was not okay with that show.
I've never seen it, so
the rape, murder for teenagers is not okay.
There's so many shows now that when there's a show that I'm kind of iffy about, I'll just catch up on it when I can. So, and that's in that kind of list of like mild interest, but there's a new season of Barry that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah, I've got enough other distractions, Ozarks and stuff like that. So,
oh yeah, the new episodes of Ozark just did drop. So
yep,
yeah. I agree what you're saying about the build up. So the two big tonal shifts in this film is in the original film, Let the Right One In. We're seeing this film from start to finish, and as Oscar slowly is figuring out that Ellie is a vampire. Where in the Matt Reeves film, it starts off in the middle of the film. Like, it literally starts off like 45 minutes in the film with an ambulance rushing through the fucking mountains.
Yeah.
And they go to the hospital, and then, Elias Cotiers, we got Casey Jones on the scene, man. We got Casey Jones on the scene, man.
Casey Jones, except they made Casey Jones look like Commissioner Gordon is the best way I can put it, with the mustache, the glasses, the hair's all, and the fucking overcoat.
He was probably doing whatever
little testing.
Chicago PD or whatever it is, because he's on that series too.
I'm just saying, motherfucker looks like he's trying out for Commissioner Gordon in this fucking movie. He's got the overcoat, the mustache, the glasses. I was like, and I recognized him, but I was also like,
Elias Cote. I mean, you're gonna recognize him.
Yeah,
he is literally like in a lineup. You're going to pick him out.
Exactly. But, it is interesting way how they start Let Me In, and they're like, here's this fucked up shit. Now let's back up 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So
that actually, if you watch it, that changes the tone of the film.
It does, and I liked it because I'll say this. I had this weird Silence of the Lambs feel when they're like, he burned multiple burns of acid, and we're carting him. He's, very dangerous, and like there's all security, and they're rushing through, and they're saying stuff, and you're like, if you're going into this completely, you hadn't seen the original, you're like, who is this fucking guy?
And at the time when I saw that part of the film, which is the beginning, I hadn't. Like I said, I stopped letting
So
me
I
in
do
halfway
appreciate
through,
that Matt Reeves was like following step by step, and literally is like, let me, kind of a misdirection. Like, the acid motherfucker is the most dangerous person.
Yeah.
No. And I'm going to say this, and I can't believe this, but I think some of her attacks are better in the remake than the original.
Oh, they are.
Because the scene in the tunnel, as much as we are anti CGI, that shit is fucking hardcore. When she's like, "Can you lift me up?" and he fucking lifts, and then she just jumps on top of him,
slams him back and forth, the bathroom kill.
You can see the CGI.
Yeah,
it's blatantly obvious with emotion, but it's one of those where it's acceptable because she would be that fast and she would be that fucking hardcore.
That vicious, that ferocious. Same thing with the bathroom kill, where in the original it's the boyfriend of the woman who got turned into a vampire because Ellie attacked her
goddamn, I love that. I love
jumping
that.
out of the tree. Yeah. So fucking cool. But in the remake, it's Elias Koteas, the detective, and even that kill, it's just so much more visceral. Like, it's just ferocious. And the fact that they actually go into the room and Owen is like staring him in the eyes as he's dying.
Yeah.
And she's just sucking him dry. You're like, oh, it's fucking brutal.
I love the lean on that in both movies, though, is that like, you need a little sunlight. Whoops.
And I will say, I kind of like her killing herself in the original.
Yeah,
she realized she was she was turning into something. She just thought she was infected with something, or she had a virus of something sort
going on. Yeah,
and she told the doctor open the window.
Yeah, versus
in this one where the nurse just opened the window.
Yeah,
right?
Like, whoops.
Didn't pay attention to the woman sucking her own blood out of her fucking arm.
Yeah,
she's bypassed her, opened the window, then she was going to look at the patient and unknowingly killed the patient. So I like that better for that part of the film. I do like the Let the Right One In version better because it's like. They talk in the book.
At least there's some meaning to it, and not just like oopsie.
Well, because in the book, which they don't talk about in the movie, Ellie just talks about there's not a lot of her left because when they get turned, they immediately commit suicide because they don't want to feed on humans their whole life.
Yeah.
So it ties into the book more than, even though Matt Reeves says he was going by the book more, that scene, you know. But I will say that Let Me In is a cleaner. Obviously, because bigger budget. He definitely had a
much bigger budget. Yeah.
It's cleaner and it's more concise. It moves in a constant pace.
Well,
where Let the Right One In is definitely more of an auteur.
Let the Right One In
pace,
definitely feels
romanticized,
like an independent movie.
Yes.
And nothing. I mean, Matt Reeves, early in his career, still has independent mentality as a director.
Yeah, but he's
got studio money. All right, so you get a couple of those. You get the shots of the ambulances through the snow on the road.
Yeah,
you get stuff that you don't really get in the original. So, but I'll be honest, like if people are into vampire stuff, there's no reason at this point you haven't seen this movie
either.
Yeah, either
of these films.
And that's what I was gonna say is that this is one of those I'm gonna throw out there. It passes.
Yeah,
because there's enough of a difference that they follow the beats. I can recommend and say pick one or the other, or if you like one, go to the other one.
I'll watch. Honestly, I would rewatch them both. I would watch if I want just that clean, crisp, straightforward plow through the story, but done good. I would watch Let Me In.
But
if I want that nice.
I am curious though, because we went kind of different directions. Where, like you said, even though you only watched half of it, you started with Let Me In, and then went backwards where I had seen Let the Right One In.
I loved Let the Right One In for what it was. Like I don't feel like it affected my enjoyment of that film, even though like I just watched the first half of the film because the movie starts in the middle, like it already sets you off kilter of like watching them back to back.
And but when did Let Me In come in?
Come out?
Yeah.
2010.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go, man. We got something in the 2000s. There's very few of them, but
but Let the Right One In came out in 08. Yeah.
Good horror remake in the 2000s because we cover
count that?
so
That's
much
kind of the
shit.
Teens. It's kind of the teens. It's the
Kind
beginning of
of.
the decade, right? You know?
I guess, but let's count it because there's so few. We've gone through so much shit, dude. Those 2000s remakes that I want to count it. Like, let's chalk it in, all right? It counts.
But
right?
I mean, there were a lot of similarities. I mean, like the dialogue when she figures out the Rubik's Cube, when she gets sick, when she, the bleeding out scene. That's something I want to touch on.
We forgot to mention that shit, man.
Both films, because the book does as well, really hones in on the vampire mythos.
Yeah.
And like just why they need to be invited, what happens to them if they start going too hungry.
Which is
like,
so fucking cool though. Is
so
I love that that's how she proves it in both of them. Is like oh, you don't believe me? Don't invite me in. Watch this, and it just starts bleeding.
Every
the
pore,
fuck,
man.
yeah,
ear, eyes, fucking head, like just bleeding.
So fucking good because I watch like What We Do in the Shadows and things like that, where they emphasize like can you invite us in?
Come on.
But they don't really show really happens. And here they're like, no, you get fucked up if you don't get invited in.
Oh, there's one thing they did show right after that scene when she showered that they don't show in Let Me In was because in the book and in Let the Right One In, the '08 film. And they do say it in 2010 where they're both like I'm not a girl, and they don't really go into it and Let Me In, but in Let the Right One In, he peeks in on her like as a teenage boy would because there's a girl getting naked in the room. I'm sorry, folks, I'm just saying it's realistic.
Yeah,
like
it's hormones.
The door's
right?
cracked open. I'm trying
it's
to.
Called
it's
hormones,
exactly.
right?
So don't get all offended. But he looks in and she's drying off, and they focus on her crotch region, and it's like she has nothing.
Yeah,
it looks like something's been cut and sewn. Remember that? You know what I'm talking about? Like it looks like something's been closed. It's weird.
Yeah.
I stopped it and rewound it a few seconds. I was like, did I just see that? What the fuck was that? And like, yeah. So there's enough. Like I said, there's enough differences, man. Like, but they do focus on the mythos very well. Like, just both movies, Owen and Oscar reference that she smells funny when he first meets her because the father hasn't fed her in a while.
Yeah.
Because the first time you see the father that actually isn't her father, he bumbles a kill, and so now she doesn't have blood, that's why she kills the guy in the tunnel.
How did he make it that far? Because he is bumbling. Like it's fun.
Well, he says it in Let Me In that he's tired. He doesn't show it in Let the Right One In, but in Let Me In,
well, that's the thing. Is Let Me In,
I'm tired,
dude. One of the really badass scenes is that first kill when the dude's in the station wagon and he comes trash bag and just the eye hole.
So good.
And then he's got everything down. He kills the motherfucker, but then he like dumps the jug of blood and he's fumbling around and
he slips.
I know.
It's snowy. It's icy. I mean,
I know. It's just like you're so stealth with all this shit.
I will say in Let Me In, when he slips on the ice walking away from the strung up corpse is more believable than the dog scaring him and spilling it in Let the Right One. Really?
Both movies, they make him pretty incompetent. But that's what I'm saying. And he's murdered. I mean, you got to think about it, with his age and the fact that he's been pretty much, he was probably Oscar close to that age and just grew up with her.
Yeah.
So he's murdered. What?
His whole life.
300 people?
That's all he knows.
Yeah.
His whole life is murder.
So
that's why
I guess it is age.
That conversation when he says, I'm just tired, maybe I want to get caught, I'm tired.
Yeah.
They have that conversation. And they do a good job of changing Abby's voice versus Eli's voice. It sounds like a dude talking to him when she's pissed about him spilling the blood.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty fucking cool. Like,
the fuck did you do?
Like I said, there's these tonal shifts in the film that make it two different films to me.
Yeah.
Just starting it off differently makes it a different film to me.
I'll say this, just order-wise, watch Let the Right One In.
Yeah, definitely watch them in
Let
order.
Me In. Yeah,
definitely watch them in order.
Just do it and just kind of compare and contrast, but each of them holds up.
Oh, and the transformation whenever Eli Raby is a vampire versus her human form is way better than Let Me In, because in Let the Right One In they just got an old lady.
Yeah, I mean,
she's definitely because like
any
they
budget.
do the shift, they do like the camera moves and back and forth, and you see it's an older woman who's just physically larger
But they do
than
much
Eli.
more close-ups on like, look what we can do and let me in.
Yeah.
Than Let the Right One In, where it's very quick. Like, she's kind of fucked up, but let's look away. She's kind of fucked. Look away. Where it's like, check out our makeup job. Yeah, we got that shit.
we got
That's
that shit
studio money,
down.
baby.
Oh, they do a really good thing that they didn't do in the original when they that they didn't do in the remake. In the original, when they walk into the basement and it's dark, Ellie's in front. And as she like looks up from the ground, you get the vampire mirror
Eyes.
reflection in the eyes, which you didn't get. And I always love that. I don't give a fuck what vampire movie it is. If I don't get at least
That
one
kind
of
of
things,
thing?
man, because I love that. That's part of it, right? It's
You're
that,
gonna get a fuck ton of that with Salem's Lot when it comes out.
oh, I'm sure, because that was in the original one.
Yeah,
You know?
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
But I love that shit.
Got to see the trailer for that, and
Does it look good?
it looks good. It's
All right.
it's directed by the guy that wrote the It remakes. So
Yeah, I know.
I'm hoping.
But-
I know
because I love the original Salem's Lot.
I know.
rewatched
That's
that.
why I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
But anyway, both films are good. Obviously, Let Me In, I consider it a killer remake. I think Matt Reeves did a great job with the film.
This is that rare one because sometimes, there's so many that don't pass. Every once in a while, we've had a couple rare ones where the remake's actually stronger than the original. And this is that other category of watch both.
Equal. Just bam. Because when we talked about this a little bit at the beginning, and I was like, they're not the same film. If you really break it down, they are two different viewing experiences of a film. Darker tone, darker lighting, starts in the middle, it changes the time frame. It's more clean, concise, about the kids only. The original is it's a lot. There's a lot more light.
But it still
throughout the
follows.
film.
It follows the beats.
No, it follows the beats, but I'm talking about what you're watching.
Yeah.
Like how you're as you're watching the film, what you see. The adults are pretty much non-existent.
I will say
with him watching that dude suck that girl's titty was kind of funny. She looked straight at him.
Let the Right One In. The pool scene and the tricks they had to do because again they don't have shit for budget.
I almost like the original pool scene better.
But
dude.
no, that's what I'm saying is Let the Right One In's one where you see the legs kicking, just floating through the water, and then arm, and then other arm, and that was one of the things. Obviously, they couldn't go full on attack, so they're like, you're just gonna you're with him, and just body parts just start showing up out of nowhere. All right,
but I really liked the originals versus Let Me In, because Let Me In, when it happens, you get the head coming through and the arm coming through, but then when it pans out, it's not as impactful for some reason. Let the Right One In, when it pans out, it's still really bright in there, and you just see all these bodies. I don't know,
everywhere.
it just looked way more hardcore. Oh, that's the other mythos, is they fly.
Yeah, there you go.
They have the wings. That's how they get it. They crawl up walls. They fly. There are some things left out of the book, though. Apparently in the book, Harkin, or Hacken, whatever how you pronounce his name, the father that's not her father, isn't actually, he was already bitten when he fell. So that means he was already bit, so he could turn into a vampire. So he comes back as an actual zombie that just wants to rape and murder.
After falling out, so he's all fucked up.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
God,
So that
kind of.
no, right?
Kind of cool.
Now the practical effects and the makeup for both of those movies are fucking awesome.
Oh yeah,
they're fucking sweet.
Yeah,
two totally different.
Except in the OG, you can definitely tell it's a dummy getting thrown out the window. This one they go, we're not even gonna do the dummy, just the nurse screams and results. All right.
No. They show him hit. They show the difference is they actually show the fall and he hits the overhang down below and then bounces off and hits the ground.
Right, but I'm saying at the beginning of the movie, you're just like scream body.
Yeah, that's true. That's because they wanted to leave the jump for later in the film, right? So those practical effects for that makeup is really cool. I gotta give them that. That was really good, well done. And I actually like that he had the whole jar in the remake. His whole face was fucked up.
Oh yeah,
and that's the other thing that actually I liked more was how he got caught and how he wanted to disfigure himself because they know that he has a daughter and they don't want to associate the two.
Yeah.
He was doing it to protect her, right?
Both movies, he's like, all right, as a
protect her, fuck it. Here we go. I promise to do this shit. But it was half the face in the original and it was the whole face because he spilt it, remember?
Yeah, his hands. But that's what I'm saying. At the beginning where you see his hands are all fucking just burnt to shit.
Yeah. But no, I meant in the original, he had the boy showing up at the gymnasium and he spilt it because he got spooked.
Yeah,
and he had
this. A lot of the original.
He had a quarter of it left, so he only got half his face. I'm like, oh, that's not as cool. But Matt Reeves also brought in some more Americana with the way that happened to him by utilizing a car. I mean, it was it was a typical American action car sequence of him spinning down a hill, You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot,
Yeah.
the whole, like, fear of America hiding in the back seat during the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's a lot. I feel like there was a lot to that scene, too. So, anyway, there's stuff we're missing about that we're not going to get to, but definitely watch it.
Yeah, I think we both recommend check both of them out.
Watch them both. Hell, go to Amazon.com, which is one of our links. You go to GUIPodcast.com, click on our links tab, click on our Amazon link, log in and shop like normal. Nothing extra to you. Just we get a little kickback, and you can buy both of them.
Yep, get this subtitled.
Yes. No dubbing.
No.
I will harshly judge you.
Yes.
And I'm not even sorry about it. But yeah, get both films. Check them out. Actually, the original one isn't streaming anywhere, but the remake is on Netflix.
For some reason, I feel like there is a double disc that has both of them on there, but I could be wrong on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that would make it convenient.
It would. Fuck yeah, it would. So check on that. Our other link would be TeePublic. While you're on GUIPodcast.com, under the links tab, go to click on the TeePublic link, and you can buy all the merch for all the shows on the network. Every show has multiple fucking designs, and plus there's just random tangential designs that are just fucking hilarious. Check that shit out. You can get it on multiple things. I mean, tote bags, shirts, hoodies, onesies, coffee mugs, notepads, tons of shit. And also, while you're on GUIPodcast.com, check out all the shows under the network that is GUI. Every show has something to bring to the table. They are all awesome, and it's all good content. We would not lie to you about that shit. And until we talk to you again, embrace the madness.
Join us at GUIPodcast.com.
Mike the Hobbit here,
Lowdown Brown.
inviting you to check out Geek Some of the Influence, a podcast that pairs booze with conversation with good friends.
And a little nerd culture.
We get a lot of colorful conversation out of our episodes, but it is here for everyone, no gatekeeping.
Always level up everything we do.
We'll punch up, never punch down.
Exactly.
So check out Geeks Under the Influence everywhere you get your podcasts, and join us or die.
Shut the fuck up, Hobbit. Welcome to GUI Nights.
GUI Nights.
Yeah, I am Lowdown Brown. With me, as always,
Mike the Hobbit.
this is the tangential side of GUI.
This is like so many of those other shows that has the after the show bit mixed with a little bit of Baywatch Nights, so it's a little sexier. It's a little bit after hours.
Also, while tying it into the previous episode of GUI. So look forward to that, too, because this comes out the week after the flagship hour-long episode.
So make sure to check out GUI Nights, and when you're done, you can...
Go the fuck home.
In a world of blockbuster movies, there's another dimension.
The dimension of schlock cinema. Join us at Beautiful Disasters on a journey into the fringe territory of B-movie abandon.
We review the flicks that are forgotten or underappreciated to give them a proper place in the annals of celluloid history.
I'm the Groots,
F.U. Hunter.
your guides at Beautiful Disasters. Come along with us for a fun ride. May
the schlock be with you.
My name is Amy Bogard,
And I'm Mike the Hobbit.
and we are the hosts of Deeply Upsetting, where we use our expertise to answer your most upsetting hypothetical quandaries, such as what non-winged animal deserves wings?
And what body part deserves a secret mouth?
Which cryptid is the worst roommate?
These questions and more that plague you will be answered on Deeply Upsetting, available anywhere you get your podcasts and at GUIPodcast.com.
Hey guys, Scotty P here with Smash on your left. And we are the Geek Fathers. That's right, bringing all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent.
So welcome to our world.
And as always, join us
Or cry.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm F.U. Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're going to fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
embrace the madness.
In a world with too many reboots and remakes,
two men will stop at nothing to make it even worse.
Join Mike the Hobbit and Tondi as they play by their own rules while pitching new takes on some of your favorite and least favorite films and TV shows. What podcast would dare to bring this upon the world?
This is Smack My Pitch Up.